Picture this. In a single second, every human on Earth just vanishes. Not one of us is left. Driverless cars keep rolling down highways, and planes on autopilot are still soaring through the clouds. The machinery of our world is still running, but all the operators are gone. What happens next? How long would it take for the planet to completely erase us? The answer is a wild journey through time, from the very first silent hours to a future millions of years from now. We've built a world of concrete, steel, and light. A world so thoroughly managed, it's hard to imagine it any other way. We control the flow of rivers, the makeup of the sky, and the fate of almost every species on the planet.
Ow.
But what if that control just ended? We're about to explore a realistic, science-based timeline of what would happen to our planet, our cities, our animals, and our legacy, starting from the moment we're gone. It's a story of chaos, collapse, and ultimately, a breathtaking rebirth. For the first few minutes, the planet wouldn't seem to notice we're gone. Lights would stay on, heaters would keep running, and servers would keep humming. But that illusion of stability would shatter fast. The first system to feel our absence, the one that powers our entire world, the electrical grid. Most of our power comes from plants that need constant human supervision and fuel. Fossil fuel plants, which generate most of the world's electricity, would be the first to go.
Alice.
Within hours, as coal conveyors run empty and natural gas valves tick shut, they'd sputter and die. This would set off a chain reaction, a cascading failure across the power grid. Entire continents, once blazing with light, would start to flicker out, plunging into a darkness they haven't seen in centuries. Some power sources would hang on a bit longer. Hydroelectric dams, powered by the sheer force of water, could keep generating electricity for days or even a few months, as their automated systems keep the turbines spinning, without maintenance. It's only a matter of time before debris clogs their intakes, and automated safety systems shut them down for good. Nuclear power plants are a whole different beast. They're designed with intense safety protocols. When the grid collapses and their human operators are gone, the reactors would automatically screw, inserting control rods to stop the nuclear chain reaction. The immediate danger isn't a massive explosion, but a meltdown from the residual heat of decay. To prevent this, they rely on backup diesel generators to pump cooling water. The catch? Those generators only have enough fuel for a few days. Once that fuel is gone, the cooling stops. All across the planet, hundreds of nuclear cores would start to overheat, melting down and releasing radioactive plumes into the wind. While not the apocalyptic bombs you see in movies, these events would create new, invisible monuments to our time-localized zones of intense radiation. As the lights go out, a second silent crisis begins in the bellies of our cities. Places like New York, London, and Tokyo are in a constant battle with groundwater, a fight waged by millions of electric pumps. Without power, those pumps go silent. In as little as 2 days, the subway tunnels of New York would start to fill with water. The vast labyrinthine networks that once moved millions would become dark, drowned, subterranean rivers. Up on the surface, a different kind of drama is unfolding. The great animal escape. We share the planet with billions of domesticated animals, creatures we've bred for a life of dependency. For most of them, our disappearance is a death sentence. Billions of chickens and other factory-farmed animals, trapped in their automated cages, would be the first to perish from starvation and dehydration. Many specialized dog breeds, unable to fend for themselves, would face extinction, and our more intimate companions, like head lice, would vanish right along with their human hosts. But for others, our absence means freedom. Herds of cattle would wander past now useless fences and onto overgrown highways. The suburbs' pets would face a new, wild reality. Many larger, more resourceful dog breeds would form packs, tapping into the instincts of their wolf ancestors. Feral house cats, already expert survivors, would thrive, becoming dominant predators in the new urban food web. And from zoos all over the world, a menagerie of exotic creatures, lions, tigers, elephants, would eventually find their way past failing security systems, stepping out into a world that's both strangely familiar and terrifyingly new. This period would be one of incredible struggle. For every creature that adapts, countless others wouldn't make it. The world would see a massive short-term extinction of all the species that depended on us to survive. In the months and years after we're gone, the planet begins a great cleansing. With our factories silent and our cars stilled, the air quality would improve almost immediately. The thick smog smothering our cities would dissipate, washed away by rain, revealing skies of a clarity we can only dream of. Rivers and lakes, no longer fed by a constant stream of pollution, would slowly start to purify themselves. Nature's reclamation is relentless. In the first year, tiny opportunistic weeds would be the vanguard, cracking through the asphalt of roads and runways. Within 3 years, burst pipes in colder climates would spew water into buildings, creating a freeze-thaw cycle that attacks their very foundations. By the end of the first decade, our manicured lawns would be unrecognizable wild meadows. Ivy and fast-growing vines would swallow houses and storefronts, their tendrils prying apart mortar and siding. The resilient street trees we planted would see their offspring take root in the crumbling asphalt of abandoned parking lots. Our concrete jungles would start to look more like actual jungles. We have a powerful, real-world example of this in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. In the decades since humans fled the radiation, the area has become an accidental wildlife haven. Despite the radiation, populations of deer, boar, and elk have exploded. The number of wolves is now 7 times higher than in surrounding reserves, proving that for many species, the absence of humans is a greater benefit than the presence of radiation is a harm. Lynx, bison, and even brown bears now roam the forests that have overgrown the abandoned city of Pripyat. It's a stunning, if tragic, experiment in rewilding. By the 25-year mark, the transformation is undeniable. Our agricultural crops, bred for big yields, would have been outcompetted by their wilder, tougher ancestors. Many endangered species, freed from human pressures like hunting and habitat loss, would start to recover. The world would be a visibly greener, wilder place, a planet, actively forgetting we were ever here. The next chapter in Earth's post-human story is the fall of our monuments. For the first century, most of our great structures would still be standing, but they'd be rotting from the inside out. Water is the universal solvent, and it's the ultimate enemy of our civilization. Wooden houses would be long gone, their materials returned to the soil. But now our icons of modernity, the steel and glass skyscrapers, begin their spectacular decline. Water, having seeped past broken windows and failing seals for decades, corrodes the steel rebar that gives concrete its strength. Plant roots, following the water, act like slow-motion wrecking balls, widening cracks and destabilizing foundations. After about a century, some of our more modern glass-curtain skyscrapers would start to fail. Our great steel bridges face a similar fate. Without us to repaint them and protect them from rust, they're doomed. Within 300 years, most of the world's iconic steel bridges, like the Golden Gate or the Brooklyn Bridge, would have collapsed into the waters they once spanned. Dams would also fail, silting up and eventually overflowing, unleashing floods that would wash away the ruins of entire cities downstream. After 500 years, our suburbs would effectively be forests again. Mature trees, over 100 feet tall, would form a canopy over the decaying skeletons of our homes. It would be a new kind of wilderness, dotted with the strange geometric mounds of collapsed buildings. During this time, the climate would still bear our signature. Even though our emissions stopped instantly, the enormous amount of carbon dioxide we pumped into the atmosphere has a long shelf life. Global temperatures would stabilize, but remain elevated for thousands of years, a long, lingering fever from the industrial age. It would take an estimated 100,000 years for CO2 levels to finally return to their pre-industrial state. The world is transforming into something both alien and ancient, a testament to nature's ultimate power. If you find this journey through time as fascinating as we do, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss our future explorations into other mind-bending scientific scenarios. As we cross the 1,000-year mark, the Earth without us enters a truly new geological phase. Most of our cities are gone, completely buried under soil and vegetation. A future explorer would have to work hard to find any obvious trace of a metropolis like London or Tokyo. The landscape would be a lumpy, overgrown terrain hiding the ghosts of our civilization. So what about our grandest achievements? The Great Pyramids of Giza, built of solid stone, would still be standing, though battered by weather. The faces on Mount Rushmore would still be recognizable, though their features would be softened and blurred by millennia of wind and ice. These monolithic relics would be among the last of our structures to endure. But our most enduring legacy might also be our most shameful one, our plastics. Designed to be indestructible, they would live up to that promise. All the plastic waste we've created would break down into smaller and smaller microparticles, eventually becoming part of the sediment on the ocean floor. Future geologists, millions of years from now, would find a strange thin layer in the rock filled with these artificial polymers, an undeniable signature of our time. These technofossils, along with aluminum cans and synthetic fibers, would define the Anthropocene epoch for any intelligence that might come after us. Let's leap forward to a time so distant it's hard to wrap your head around. Millions of years into the future. By this point, the Earth has almost completely forgotten us. The ice ages have come and gone. The continents have continued their slow, relentless drift. And evolution, unburdened by human interference, has been busy. The planet is teeming with life, but it's not the life we knew. New species have evolved to fill the countless niches we emptied. Without human hunting and habitat destruction, it's possible that megafauna would rule once again. Maybe strange new elephant-like creatures roam North America, or bizarre, flightless birds have evolved on isolated islands. The full recovery of biodiversity to pre-human levels could take anywhere from 3 to 7 million years, a staggering amount of time that shows just how deep a wound we inflicted on the biosphere. Are any traces of us left at all? On the surface, almost nothing. Our bronze statues, being chemically stable, might persist as unrecognizable green lumps. The faces on Mount Rushmore would be eroded into nondescript hills. Our final lasting mark would be hidden deep within the Earth's crust, that thin layer of plastic, the weird concentrations of radioactive isotopes from our reactor meltdowns, and the fossilized skeletons of 8 billion bodies. These are the last remnants of the human empire. The story of a world without us isn't about the end of the world. It's the story of the world's incredible power to heal. It shows that the Earth, which existed for billions of years before we showed up, will exist for billions of years after we're gone. Life will go on, it will adapt, and it will thrive. Our time here, which feels so permanent to us, is just a brief, explosive chapter in an immense planetary saga. And maybe the biggest lesson is that while the Earth will eventually recover from us, we only have this one Earth to live on. The world doesn't need us, but we desperately need it.